You may not be able to stay to the end of the presentation. I'm going to conclude by saying that continuing professional development, it is a reality here in Sudan and overseas, and it is here to stay. What is continuing professional development? It is a mean by which members of a profession maintain their knowledge, skills, attitude, and they develop qualities in their professional life to avoid this happening. We have shortage in skills, labor, and this. By having this activity, we're going to have all the time expert, skillful, knowledgeable, and scholars available all the time. It is a conscious update of the profession, knowledge, skills, and attitude. It is the improvement of the professional competence, and this is very important, throughout our life career, from graduation till retirement. It is a commitment of being a profession, and it is a commitment to be updated all the time in what is happening in the field. It is a continuous seeking improvement, development, and this is very important and vital. In 1996, they produced a definition for continuing professional development, and that is a systematic maintenance, improvement, and broadening of three important things: the skills, the knowledge, and development of certain personal qualities. And that is important and necessary to execute our professional and technical duties throughout our career and life. It is a key for updating the personal and the career opportunities to improve and to develop. In 1998, the Chief Medical Officer in UK produced a very clear definition for continuing medical education, which is different from continuing professional development. The definition was, or still, a process of long life learning for all individuals and teams, which enable professionals to expand and to fulfill their potentials. Eventually, that will meet the needs of the patient and to deliver health and healthcare priorities to the national healthcare in UK. It is important to differentiate between continuing medical education and continuing professional development. Continuing medical education means something to be done to individuals, whereas continuing professional development means something individuals they do for themselves, and that is very important in response to their own perceived learning objective, missions, and other things. Now there is a move from continuing medical education to continuing professional development to include other things like managerial, like administrative, and other activities. Why it is important to deal with this issue? Why we are concerned about continuing professional development? Concerned because learning never ceases regarding age or seniority. Concerned because it focuses on the professional competence. And we are concerned because continuing professional development, it is to deal with the personal development and performance throughout the career of our life. As you know, medicine started as an art and a skill. And you know, it was a profession and it was a apprenticeship. Somebody will go and stay with somebody and will deal with this, and then eventually the master will go and give you the license to practice medicine. In the 15th century, Henry III, in the 8th, he established the company of barbers and surgeons. And then, as expected, the surgeons had a big fight and they separated, but they still were keeping our title, Mr. ما كانوا يسموهم دكاترة بيسموهم misters لأنهم they are not part of the profession, medical profession. However, then it started to be medicine, it started to be science and skills, and then came the royal colleges, physicians, surgeons, and getting the diploma of the royal college was the end of a lot of hassles. Getting this means you enter a new era, and you can see here one of the very professional surgeons. His example of professionalism, that was the late Professor Abdul Al, and beside him was Mr. Hussein Abu Saleh, and then Mr. Quresh. I'm not sure the third one. But after you get the diploma, you will enter a club of the consultants. You start to change your language. You start to change your behavior. You said, in my experience, in my books, and a lot of these things was very important that time. Things start to get more complicated, and now we have certificate for completion of higher training. You spend about 5 years after the diploma of the fellowship, and then you start to have looking for jobs for as a consultant. So things are getting now a bit difficult. Even so, nowadays in UK there is registration, there is license, and everybody have to prove in 5 years time he is competent, he is up to the standard, he is up to date, and that is by having evidence of continuing professional development activities. Things even getting worse in the state, and you have recertification after 5 years. Somebody will shout, why should I do this? I'm doing the things right on the time. There is no need to have these hassles for revalidation and recertification. There is change in medical practice. As I mentioned, it started as an apprenticeship, and the physician was considered as masters, magicians, artists. Then they changed medicine practice into science, and there is change from overall management of patient clinical approach. Now are talking about genetics, molecular approach to disease and to illness. I like very much the term used by Mr. Professor Umar about illness and disease. The change of practice now, we're talking about evidence-based medicine, and everything now it is evidence. The term my books or my experience is no longer valid in the medical practice. And as you know, this is everybody now the medical evidence-based medicine. But in summary, it is the bridge between the gap between practice and between the research for dealing with individual patient, individual case at that site. So people now talking about even the best available evidence-based practice, not evidence-based, but the best evidence-based nowadays.